In October of 1993, the mighty Morphin Power Rangers faced their greatest foe. They faced an enemy that cut them to the core. No, it wasn't another putty creation. No, rather, it was a friend. That's right, in October 1993, we were introduced to Tommy Oliver, the legendary Green Ranger, who started off as a great friend, but due to the influences of Rita Repulsa, became an enemy. He became the legendary Green Ranger, who controlled the greatest mech of all time, the Dragon Zord. The 5-part story of Green with Evil was a wild time in Power Ranger history. I know that for me as a young man watching it when it first came out, I was enthralled and captivated by this story. Specifically, this young man who was fighting this thing on the inside. You knew that Tommy didn't want to be this, but it had consumed his life. And the Rangers were worried. They were genuinely didn't know what to do as they fought this enemy who was also their friend. But there's a turning point. There was a switch that went off that made things a little bit easier to overcome this situation. When they realized they weren't fighting Tommy himself. What do I mean? Let's talk about that today on Geek Devotions. Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotions, the show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting you know you're loved. I'm Dalton. I'm so glad you hit the play button today. If you're new to our show, we take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, and comic books, and we use them to let you know that you're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment, know this: we love you. We care about you. There is a plan and a purpose for your life. Don't give up. So it is officially Geekmas for us here at Geek Devotions. As you guys know, every year for Geekmas, we come up with a theme, something to theme all of our Christmas episodes. And this year we decided to do Mechmas. We're taking a look at a variety of different Mecha animes and movies and TV shows, and we're using them to let you know you're loved and cared for. So if you like giant robots, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we have them coming to you guys all month long through this show, through our podcasts, and some articles we have coming out on our website. Now look, if you're a fan of mechs and giant fighting robots, perhaps you're a fan of Mobile Suit Gundam, I want to encourage you guys to check out our brand new podcast, The Gundam Watch, where myself and a lot of the team members will get together, or we're watching through various Mobile Suit Gundam series, talking about them, breaking them down, and then just having fun together. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you guys check out The Gundam Watch on most major podcast catchers. There will be a link down below for you guys to get to it quite easily. As we were trying to plan out this series, we had a lot of ideas of talking about maybe Pacific Rim and Mobile Suit Gundam and everything else, but with the recent passing of Jason David Frank, Power Rangers just kept coming to mind. And we actually had a conversation about Tommy's passing in a recent podcast, so it'll be linked down below, talking about dealing with grief and also how to walk through the situation. But if you yourself are dealing with these thoughts of suicide and depression, there's some resources in that podcast. So please make sure you go check that out. There's a link down below. And so I just thought it was fitting for us to talk about this today. Talk about the introduction of the Green Ranger. As I said in my intro, this was a huge event in Mighty Morphin Power Ranger history, where the Rangers were dealing with a foe that they never faced before, their friend. But also, like I said in my intro, that there was a switch that went off in their head when they realized they weren't fighting Tommy. Not really. Yes, it was him physically. Yes, he was the one there. But where the actual conflict was with something evil that was influencing him. It was with a spell that Rita Repulsa had put on him, and there was this power sword that he was using, that Rita was using to control him. When the Power Rangers realized that it wasn't their friend, but rather something darker on the back end that they were fighting, it became easier for them to come up with a plan to fight, to help Tommy become who is really meant to be. This can mirror over to our day-to-day life, because oftentimes we have conflict with individuals, people that we love, that we care about, their friends, their family, but there's something going on in their life, and there's a shift, there's a change, and all of a sudden there's tension, and there's some infighting taking place, and there begins to become maybe some bitterness, and maybe they've developed a habit, maybe they developed an addiction to something that is controlling their life, and it's leading down a dark path. Perhaps maybe they're dealing with some mental anguish, they're dealing with some depression, anxiety, and other things, and it's leading them down a place, and they're lashing out against you and against others, and it becomes frustrating because you are finding yourself going, what's happening to my friend? What's happening to my loved one? And you're struggling to deal with these situations, and you start to develop this mindset of, man, I'm fighting them. And when that mindset kicks in where you're fighting these people, it becomes harder to try to help them. It becomes harder for us to love them. Reality of the situation, though, is that when you look at individuals, most of your conflicts you're looking at across the world, especially in life with other people, it's not the person you're fighting. there's something behind it. There's something deeper. In chapter 6 of the book of Ephesians, Paul is giving some final encouragement to the church. He's telling them to armor up and to get ready for a battle. But he's reminding them of something deeper than this. He's letting them know that they're not fighting against necessarily the world itself, against individuals, but something deeper. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Paul is telling this church that they're not fighting against people, flesh and bone, but there's a spiritual aspect behind the situation they're dealing with. And we have to keep that in mind when we go through day-to-day life and we have conflict with people. When we are dealing with people who are struggling, who seem to be pushing back and lashing out, we have to ask ourselves, what's going on in their lives? What's going on beyond this present situation? Now, understand, that doesn't necessarily automatically excuse all poor behavior. They still have the choice of walking this out, of walking in these things. However, when we understand there's a deeper issue, we can then formulate a plan to help them in better ways. Speak to the actual issue, find ways to help them through that issue. If they're dealing with addiction, develop a plan of action to help them overcome that addiction. If they're dealing with depression, anxiety, develop a plan to help them get past those things. Because when you have these outside influences influencing a person and they're not handling it appropriately, there's only one choice for them to do, and that's to lash out. Unless they have the skills, unless somebody has come in and helped them to develop a plan to overcome these things. So my encouragement to you guys is, as you deal with conflict, ask yourself, what's behind this? What's causing these lashes? What's causing them to reach out and to fight against us? Because again, we're not fighting flesh and bone, but against something deeper. And for you yourself, maybe you found yourself being a lot more on edge, lashing out against people. Examine yourself. Examine your heart, examine your mind. What's taking place? Are there things that you've allowed in to influence you that you need to start removing because they're not good for you? If we can pray with you, if we can encourage you guys, let us know. Reach out to us here at Geek Devotions. Leave a comment down below and let us know how we can pray with you. I want to encourage you that if you are dealing with addiction, if you're dealing with depression and anxiety, find help. Reach out to people who can help you, because you don't have to live in this. You don't have to walk in this. You can have freedom. It's that time for the question of the week, and your question is simply this. What is your favorite Power Rangers series? Power Rangers has been around for a very long time. I have been watching Power Rangers since it first premiered back in 1993. I say I've been watching it. I haven't continued watching it. I probably haven't watched past, I don't know, anything post 2001. I've caught a couple of things here and there, but not seriously watched it. But I have a lot of love for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I have a lot of love for the early years of it, because just a lot of nostalgia for me and some really interesting storytelling that took place. But what's yours? Leave a comment down below and let me know. As I said, this is the first part of Mechmas, and if you like giant robots and fighting giant robots like that, leave a comment down below and let us know what your favorite fighting robot is, and also hit the subscribe button, because we have content coming out to you all month long. We want to say a special thank you to our amazing devoted Patreon geeks who have helped us to do what we do. Thanks to them, we're able to keep our website going, our podcast going, get the resources we need to create content like this designed to encourage people, let them know they're loved, and let them know there's a plan and purpose for their life. If you would like to become a devoted Patreon geek, visit our website, geekdevotions.com. Click the support page where you can become a devoted Patreon geek for as little as $1 a month. Maybe give a one-time gift if you like, or if you want, you can help us get some supplies through an Amazon wish list that we have. But if you don't support us financially, hey, being part of our community, watching these videos, sharing them out, taking part in the comment section, taking part in our Facebook page, in our Facebook group, our Twitch streams, all those things, guys, that helps a lot. A, it gives purpose for what we do, but B, it helps us because we're doing community together. That's the important part, guys. We're developing a community here at Geek Devotions. It's not just about views and clicks and links and stuff like that. It's about life. It's about community. So let's do community together through all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for Geek Devotions. Pop up pretty easily. We're also on Twitch and TikTok. We're working on a couple of things with those. But all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay devoted. Peace and love.